going to tell you the rest of the ghost stories that I have had in my childhood, and let's see how you react. There wasn't anything left in my grandfather's house for experiences for me, not that I know of anyway. The next experience that my family has told me was when I helped my grandmother move into their new house, which was new at the time, but it's not new anymore. And we called it the farmhouse. I think I called it the farmhouse first because when I looked at it, I thought of a farmhouse, because in the backyard there was I don't know how to describe this. It was where horses can be hooked up to in a circle, and they can walk around in a circle, and it's kind of like a pinwheel. And when I looked out in the front yard, it was huge, covered with trees, and the house looked nothing like a farm, but I looked at it and called it a farmhouse, so everyone went along with it and started calling it a farmhouse too. And when I talk about the house now, I call it a farmhouse still, because that's what I know of, and that's what I used to call it. That's what I'm used to. So my grandmother was moving in, and we were helping her, and she told me to pick my playroom, and I said okay. She was making the playroom the door at the very end of the hall on the left, and there was a door at the very end of the hall, like the very, very end, but that was going to be my aunt's room, and she picked that one. And when my grandmother picked that, she thought that I'd like it, so I went over to the room, and I looked at my grandma, I'm just like, this isn't my playroom. And she said, well, why? What's wrong with it? And I said, the one at the room at the very front of the hall. I was very particular about the room. So I'm just like, I want that room. I don't want this room. I want that room to be my playroom. And she was just gonna make that room that I wanted so bad to be an office for them. But since I wanted the room that they were gonna make the office so bad, they switched it around. So I ended up getting that room, and I was very persistent about it, and she thought it was quite odd. But I mean, what can you say? Maybe I really liked the room, and it was just that. So later on, after coming over to my grandmother's house for a while, my grandmother would notice when I would be playing in the room, I'd be talking, and she would kind of peek in there to see what I was doing and how I was doing, and she would see that I was playing with my toys, and I had a big Barbie house, and I was playing with that, and it had like the voices in it, where it was like battery operated, and I was talking with my toys like little kids do, but now we know that's not normal for me. And she personally saw a shadow of a little girl sitting in front of me, and I seemed to be looking down at my toys and looking up at her and talking to her and then going back and forth. And she would see it quite frequently with me, and I'd be playing with her all the time. So it became a thing. And the weirdest thing about all of this is that I was around 8 or 9 years old, so I was older, not old, but older than my last experience when I was a toddler. So you'd think that I'd actually remember this, but I don't. Like, I don't at all. I don't remember any of that, and I don't remember seeing her. I don't remember anything about that. But after my grandmother told me about this experience that I had, and how other people have been seeing that girl in the hallway, I got scared. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I completely forgot about the situation, or just wiped my memory, and I don't know where all those memories have gone. I'd like to remember them, if anything, because then I wouldn't be so afraid of the paranormal. and I'm so interested in it, and I don't understand why I'm interested in it if I'm so scared of it. So I'm trying to figure it out. I was thinking if I got help from you, I'd kind of figure it out a little bit more, because I'm kind of like wanting to investigate places, and you'll see that I do, but I don't try to contact things. I just go in there naturally and just record it and maybe see if I can catch something on camera, but I'm not forcing anything upon whatever is out there, and I'm trying to find proof without forcing it too much. That was pretty much my experience with the farmhouse, and it would occur all the time. My grandmother has had experiences in that house, which I'll cover in a different video, but for me, that's what happened with me, and I think that's when it really started not happening anymore, where I didn't see anything anymore, which is kind of sad to think about, because I was actually really attached to the ghost that I ever saw. So I don't know. My grandmother doesn't live there anymore, so I actually drove to the house to see what it looked like, and it took a while to find the house, but me and someone else, we drove over there and started looking for the place. It's really hard to find because it's all overgrown with trees and green. Green is very rare in Arizona. So I was confused because it didn't look like the house, because it was so different. And when my grandmother owned it and lived in it, it was much nicer. After her, there was a few owners that didn't treat the place with kindness, and we were told that the place was taken over by a guy that was breeding dogs. Yeah, they used the house to breed the dogs, and then they stayed in the guest house outside. I don't know, but it took a while to find it, and when we did, there was a sign saying no trespassing, and it was literally a forest. It was covered, and it looked so different, and I got really upset because I'm just like, that was a really good place for me to play, and I wasn't able to see any of it because it was guarded with all this green. And I am all for the green, but really, on that house, the one I wanted to see, so I was upset, but it is what it is. I guess I could drive by it, just like I said about the other ghost story. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's short, but that's all the experiences I've had. They're not quite interesting, but they're interesting for a little child, especially since I don't remember any of it. And I wanted to make it into a part 2 because, you know, I talk a lot, and for 2, I want to make sure you guys actually like it before I kept on going and made it a bigger video than it needed to be. So let me know if you want me to make a video with my grandmother's stories, my aunt's stories, Puddin stories, because he has some stories, and his mom's stories, and actually my Nana's story of her house that she currently lives in. And then I can cover some ghost stories from when Andrew or Puddin and I went to Jerome in 2017, I believe. Yeah, that's pretty much it, unless I talk to anyone else about ghost stories. Oh, and my friend, I'm gonna call her Brittany, because I don't know Brittany. I can feature her story and her talking, but I won't feature her in the video. Only if she wants to, though. So I will let you know by posting a video, and we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day.